Happy Birthday Grimace. As a kid, I would often sit right in front of the TV, not even a foot away from the screen, despite the dangers my parents would warn me about. I loved feeling like I was absorbing all the beautiful colors on display, and being so close that you could hear the faint buzzing from the TV box. I loved the commercials more than anything. My favorites were the McDonald's ones. A wide smile always crossed my face when I saw those nifty characters they had in their advertisements. The Hamburglar, Bertie, the Fry Guys, and of course Ronald McDonald himself. There was one character that I never seemed to like, though. This large, purple, almost triangle-shaped individual that was a bit larger than the other characters. There was always something strange about him, the way he lurked around the screen, oftentimes in the background. Sometimes I felt like he was looking directly at me. I couldn't remember his name until just recently when I saw a McDonald's commercial while waiting in the dentist's office. They were announcing the Grimace Shake, in honor of Grimace's birthday. I thought the purple color was strange, but I always loved trying new items from fast food places. The same hulking purple monster was in the commercial, just as creepy as I remember him, but I wasn't afraid anymore, of course. The following night I pulled through my nearest McDonald's drive-thru and ordered one Grimace Shake. I nabbed it just before the store closed at 2 a.m. I pulled into the empty parking lot and left the car running so I could listen to music. As I held this cold delight in my hand, I closed my eyes and slurped some up through the straw. It's all right, I thought to myself. It wasn't anything to rave about. But then my music stopped. I opened my eyes, not to the comfort of my car, but to darkness. Pure, pitch-black darkness. The shake in my hand was gone. And soon after, I felt the air being drawn from my lungs, ripped from my body. The shake appeared above my head, its contents poured onto my face and into my mouth, causing me to choke on the purple liquid. And appearing out of the void was a furry, purple triangle. Two soulless eyes staring directly into mine, a smile the same shade of nothing as the surrounding abyss. He gripped my throat tighter and tighter as I fought for some form of air past the shake being forced down my gullet. Time didn't seem to exist here. I was suspended in the air, forced to consume Grimace's fluid for what felt like eternity. Eventually, I gave up resisting and simply let him have his will with me. The last thing I remember was being thrown to the ground. I saw myself laying in the parking lot, shirtless and covered in purple goo. With the torment finally over, weak and drained, I shut my eyes and let nothingness take me away. I'm a good father. All I can remember were her whimpers. The pain she was in. My daughter means everything to me, how could I do this? As I stared at the lifeless body of this deceased little girl, I couldn't stop my tears from streaming down my face. I'm a good father, I repeat. I'm a good father, I try to convince. She just left me no choice, her words, the torment. I don't care what anyone says, I know evil, even when it hides behind the eyes of a 14-year-old girl, and if I didn't stop her now, it would have been too late. I'm a good father, I repeat to myself even after I dig up the hole in the ground. I'm a good father, I repeat to myself after I drop her body into her premature grave. I cover up all evidence of me and drive back home. I take a breath as I walk into my house, and as I shut the door I hear footsteps come up from behind me. My daughter staring at me, pale face and eyes, puffy. Almost as if she's been crying all night. Did you talk to her? She asks me tiredly. I stare at her blankly before I muster up words. Ever since we moved to this neighborhood, my baby girl has been tormented and bullied relentlessly by her classmate, and I promised her I would handle it. She wasn't home, kiddo. I'll make sure I drop by again the first thing tomorrow, I said. I'm a good father, and a father protects their children. Even I have to bury someone else's. I buy years. I found out long ago I have the power to buy years from people. You know you have the power when you are born with it. I survived 200 years by buying years from people. There are many of us walking around the world. We can spot each other. They are your coworkers, people you pass in the street and everywhere. I worked very hard, so I will always have money to buy years to survive. I work with the poor, the desperate. I pay for years. When a young man needs money to feed his family, that's all he can see. He will give me 10 years of his life. Of course, to a young person 10 years is abstract. So far away at the moment it doesn't matter to him. Word gets around who I am and the desperate approach me. One day I was approached by a lady who said her 19-year-old will sell me 10 years. All we do is exchange body chemistry. No signs of what's happened. Just a few of the right words from me as we stare in each other's eyes, and it's done. I went to the home of the family with the 19-year-old. I wanted to get this started. The childlike women walked in crying. Childlike and barely grown. But grown. She cried to her mother, "Mama, it's not right, please, we can't do this." Her mother replied, "You don't have a choice." I fought off the pains of guilt. If I didn't, I would never have survived, and we are all here to survive. I pushed away the sadness in the childlike face. It was over quickly. After it was over, the giver of the year's first thing was laughter. She said, "I'm hungry, so hungry," and laughed. Her parents laughed and cried. She was promised a big meal out soon. Well, I wasn't hungry, I felt nauseated. Maybe nerves from all this emotion thrown at me. But the sick feeling never went away. And worse, I vomited every day. I went to a doctor. I know I must have picked up a bug, the flu. After blood work, I went back to the doctor to discuss my condition. He told the shocking news. He said he was sorry, but my cancer had reached a late stage and at the most I left was 6 months. Now I know. The girl's parents wanted to save her life. She laughed because she was hungry. Something she hadn't been in a long time. I gave her my years. Losing 10 years was a bargain compared to the 6 months she had left. I don't have much time now. I am okay with that. I realized I overstayed my time here on Earth.